Okay, seems everyone is around. Yes, okay, fine. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining in. It's a great evening today, and I welcome you once again for our next edition of TMI webinar. The update we have is as usual. We are about to cross the charity of around 1,25,000. This month itself, we have raised 16,000 plus of charity. So these are the kind of good things which are happening. We also had an event in collaboration with CIO Club of Gujarat during last week. As well as we also had the pleasure of having a collaboration event with Hyperledger and St. Gates group of institutions. So that is where we as a TMI community participated. Now is the time that we are taking our webinar series to next level, and we have Gaurav with us. Gaurav is expert in LinkedIn, and he is going to speak on how to leverage the power of LinkedIn to create impact. So that is going to be the title of his talk today. Gaurav is a professional from TCS. He works with TCS in Mumbai. And give me a moment. Yeah, okay. So he works with TCS, and he's based out of Mumbai. He's indeed a LinkedIn enthusiast, also a purpose coach. If I can just read out things from his LinkedIn profile, it is full of various achievements. And if we can say uh, uh, he does a lot of research and collaboration work along with different academic institutions. He is a business storyteller, a business doodler. He's a purpose coach. He's a career coach, and he's a multifaceted personality. Also, one of the his latest, I would say, uh, I would say contribution or achievement is he has conducted recently multiple LinkedIn programs and got a good traction and feedback. So here we have Gaurav Gandhi with us. Gaurav is a member of TMI community. So thank you, Gaurav, for your active participation and delivering this webinar to fellow members of TMI community. Thank you so much, and I hand it over to you. Over to you, Gaurav. The floor is yours. Request all participants in the interest of bandwidth, if you can just put off your video right now, then you should be able to hear Gaurav comfortably. So kindly put off your video and let us go through the webinar.
And also remain on mute when not speaking.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Gaurav, you are audible.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chetan Bhai, first of all, giving me this opportunity to conduct this workshop on LinkedIn for TMI community. I'm grateful to all TMI members for sparing their 2 hours on a weekend, Saturday, and coming out for this workshop. I'm sure my purpose of this workshop is to give you at least 4 takeaways, which are all actionable. Post this workshop, you would be able to use them and create a very impactful, change in your LinkedIn. So with that, I want to start. Meanwhile, while I'm while I'm sharing my screen and sharing the presentation, if you can just put 2 things in the chat window. One is, what is your current LinkedIn connect count? How many connects you have on LinkedIn? And what you are looking forward from LinkedIn. So it can be you want to create your brand, you want to look for a job, or you want to create impact, whatever it can be. And we'll cover that at the end during the Q&A session. Okay, so Chintan Bhai has introduced me, but I just want to tell you briefly what I do. I've been with TCS for 15 years, global experience for TCS in North America, primarily Ivy League institutions like Stanford, MIT, Carnegie Mellon, Cornell, and Yale. These are two things which I do. In my pastime, I am also a business tutor, business storyteller, and a coach for startups. Now, coming to the point of why LinkedIn, I'm sure most of you, and thanks for sharing your details, brief details on the Google Forms. I saw most of you, in fact, 50% of you have 20 plus years of experience, which is a great, kind of experience range to leverage LinkedIn. Almost 30% of you were between 10 to 20 years of experience. So almost 75% of the total 150 people who registered for this workshop has a large number of years of experience, which they can definitely leverage to create impact on LinkedIn. Now, let me come to the point why LinkedIn. There are several other platforms. We all spend our time on WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter, and so on. But why LinkedIn? This is the latest figure, which is coming right from the LinkedIn website. 706 million members. And the biggest number is coming from United States, which is 171 million members on LinkedIn are from United States. But if you see who is second in the world in terms of number of people on LinkedIn, and it is India, none other India. We have 6.9 million people, which is close to 7 crore folks in India are on LinkedIn. And that's a very, very big number. And that's the number we all want to leverage for whatever purpose we want to use LinkedIn. Now, these are the things which I would cover during my workshop, and I'll, of course, take all your questions. The first question I would cover is understanding the why of your objective, why you want to use LinkedIn. Almost all of us are on LinkedIn. We are using LinkedIn for different purposes, but defining our objective would be the first point to understand how we can create impact. Second is to enhance your LinkedIn profile. Most of you has a pretty amazing profile, but there's always a scope of improvement, and your profile, if I give an all, your headshot, your photo, and your headline is a teaser, your summary section is a trailer of a movie, and your whole profile is actually the movie. So when you see a teaser either on YouTube or someone sends you a link on WhatsApp, and based on a teaser, you decide whether you want to watch the trailer and the entire movie. So hence, enhancing your LinkedIn profile is one of the key components we'll cover in this session. Third is how do you leverage your connections? How do you leverage your connections? How do you create impact using the knowledge which your connections are sharing, or the knowledge which you have, which you can share with your connections? Fourth, and the most important thing is how do you win the content game? How do you write content which people read and which will give you an output? And finally, how do you achieve a star LinkedIn profile? Now let me take a quick pause and give you 10 seconds. If you have not done so, please do share the number of connections you have on LinkedIn, because this will give us a fair idea in terms of maturity and usage where you stand, and I will take the questions accordingly, probably at the end of the session. Okay, so assuming I saw a couple of numbers, some of you are 3,000, some of you are 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So if you are somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000, our job probably next 1 week would be how do you scale from here to 5,000 connections, and if you are at 6,000, how do you reach to 10,000, and if you are at 10,000, how do you reach to 15,000 connections or beyond. If I take a step back and give you a figure, there are 7 crore people only from India on LinkedIn. So reaching a limit of 30,000 is not a big task. But the big task is how do you connect with relevant people? These 30,000 should be relevant people, which should be relevant to your business, which should be relevant to your job, which should be relevant to your skills. So one point I want to quickly share is the maximum limit of LinkedIn is 30,000 in terms of connections. There is no limit for the followers. So if you reach 30,000 limit, you may not be able to add any new connection, but still people may follow you. Follow means they would be able to see your post, they will be able to comment, they will be able to engage with you. Now, I'll give you a incident which happened about 1.5 months back. So as Chetan Bhai told, I also do business doodling as part of my interest, and I took a business doodling course and posted my business doodles on my website. And luckily, my company social media team picked it up, and they posted it on handle of TCS. And the thing is, TCS is among the top 7 companies in LinkedIn in terms of reach. So it has, if you see, 4.5 lakh followers. What this can do, I'm just quoting this as an example, what this can do for your personal brand, for your LinkedIn, is something which is very, very amazing. So this post, I don't have the exact figure, but if I can give you approximate number of views, this post had 1 million views. This post had 13,000 engagements in terms of likes, and it had 200 plus comments. The day this post was put, and because I was ready with a star LinkedIn profile, I probably would have received 500 connect requests within a span of 5 days. So why I'm quoting this example is something like this happens, someone quotes you or your company puts your achievement on their profile, on their company page, you should be ready. That's the point I want to make through this. Now let's come to the first point. What's your objective from LinkedIn? If I may take probably a couple of seconds and ask you to put your objective, if you have not done so, what is your objective of using LinkedIn? So I know a lot of you are thought leaders, a lot of you are VPs, CXOs in your own company. So your objective can be to create your personal brand. You're already known in your company, in your circle, in your professional circle. But imagine if you have a personal brand on LinkedIn, then that personal brand is visible to 700 million people. And that's an amazing thing, because what personal brand can do for you is, I can't even tell you what it can do. I'll give you my experiences, but it can do amazing things for all of you. That's what I can just say. If you are in a business, for example, I saw some of you are working in real estate industry, say Kalpataru, you want to generate leads, you want to sell your houses, or you are in a coaching business, you want to get coaching clients, or you are providing a consultancy, you want to get a B2B clients for your consultancy. For all those things, the best platform in the world, you can look at any statistics, especially from B2B perspective, is LinkedIn. So that can be the another objective for a group of people, which is to generate leads. Third is dream job. Now, some of you I saw were students, some of you are early age professionals, and if you are willing to jump ships, get into a new job, get into a dream job, I think there is no other better place than LinkedIn to do so, because who's who of companies, CXOs, CEOs, hiring managers, HR head, everyone is here. How do you create impact? How do you connect with them? How do you leverage LinkedIn to do that is what can be your objective. So these are 3 objectives. It can be multiple, but I would still suggest if you can focus on one, because the focus is what will get you results. Now, if you want to generate leads, the three important questions to ask is, who do you help, right? So if you're a coach, say you are a coach for CXOs, so you help CXOs, but what do you help them achieve? You help them achieve results. And how do you do that? You do that by making them self-aware, by elevating their self-awareness level. I'm just giving you some example, because if you are planning to generate leads being a coach, these should be the keywords which should come in your headline, which in your summary, in your profile. Now, if you want to create personal
Gaurav, there seems to be some issue with your voice. Gaurav,
so can be
Gaurav, hello, Gaurav, Gaurav, can you hear me?
hello.
Yeah. So we couldn't, none of us could hear you since last 1 minute. So probably you'll have to repeat that portion.
Objective.
Okay, but are
Yes.
you able to hear me now?
Yeah, we are able to hear you. So it seems, I mean, there is a packet drop on your Wi-Fi, and we are able to see you using your mobile. So our backup is on. We aren't able to see your screen actually.
Okay, let me share my screen again.
Yeah. You'll have to explain this slide once again.
Sure, no issues. My slide is visible now, right?
Yeah, it is visible, and we can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. So I will repeat myself. One of the key points to if you want to leverage LinkedIn to its fullest potential is to define your objective. It can be broadly divided into three areas. Either you want to create your personal brand, or you want to generate leads, or you may want to get a new job, right? For each of them, we will ask certain questions, because these questions will help you define what you would put in your headline, what you would put in your summary, and what you would put in your LinkedIn profile.
Hello, Gaurav, are you there?
And you want to generate leads for your business,
Gaurav, we lost you in
you may
between.
have support.
Gaurav, your voice is not coming.
Gaurav, we are not able to hear you. Gaurav, it seems he has a challenge.
Are you able to hear me now?
Give me a moment. Let me give him a message.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
No, your voice is breaking.
No, your voice is breaking. Okay, so let us do it this way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let us do
better
it
now.
this way. I mean, if you can just put off your video and then talk, then because it seems that there is a challenge with your Wi-Fi. You are on your mobile network, and that is where there are challenges. If you can just put off your video and talk, then present, then it should work well.
Yeah, I've to stop my video.
Yeah, thank you so much. It should help.
Is my voice visible? Is my
Yes, you are audible. Yeah, yeah.
am I
Please go
audible?
ahead.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so what I was saying is generating leads can be one of your objective on LinkedIn, right? And it can be, if you are a coach, you may want to define who you are helping, what you're helping them achieve, and how do you do that. That can be one point. If you want to create your personal brand, then the important point to list down, because that would be part of your profile, would be who are you? Are you a storyteller? Are you a coach? Are you a startup mentor? Are you an entrepreneur? And who would benefit from you? Because if you identify this clearly, then you would be able to reach those target audience, increase your connect, and increase your impact. The third question to ask would be, what would people learn from you? So for example, people learn from me business storytelling, LinkedIn branding, business doodling, right? And same can be multiple things which are from your area of expertise. Now, third and the last point is, if you want to if you want to land a dream job, important question to ask is, what do you do? And what are your dream companies? So if I want to apply to Amazon, I know Shaji is part of TMI, and probably he can help me understand what Amazon does in particular area in which I'm looking for a job, and who could get you a dream job. So my first potential connect would be Saji, who's already in Amazon. And how do you do that is when you have to create an impactful LinkedIn profile. So this is the first part, which is an objective. And here we come with our first exercise. Now, the first exercise for all of you, and if you see there, with the help of Chintan Pai, we'll be running this 4-day LinkedIn challenge on the LinkedIn TMI group, and I'll be happy to provide feedback to all of you, whoever is participating in them, and help you achieve your LinkedIn objective. So first is define your objective. You can, if you have a pen and paper, you can write it down now. If you have a mobile, you can note it down, and you can build upon that later, probably tomorrow. That's the exercise one. So my objective is to build a personal brand. Who are you? I'm a corporate innovation expert. Who could benefit from you? For me, it's emerging tech startup, angel investor, venture capitalist, accelerators, innovators, and academic researchers. Uh, so this is the first exercise I want all of you to do, and this exercise will definitely help you achieve results. If you are able to understand the exercise, you can probably type yes in the chat window, so I'm able to understand that you're getting what we are discussing. Just type Y or yes. Yeah, Deepak, if you want to repeat, yes, sure. So basically, the first exercise, what we are doing for the TMI community for LinkedIn Impact is defining our objective. So what is your objective of using LinkedIn? It can be building a personal brand, it can be generating leads, or it can be landing a dream job, or it can be anything else also. Who are you means what is your expertise, who would benefit from you. This is whatever is your target audience. And once you do that, you can post the screenshot on TMI LinkedIn group by tomorrow, and we will have a look and we can share the feedback. Okay, great. I'll move on to the next part. Now, you know what is the goal of each of us if we want to leverage the power of LinkedIn? The goal is to come up in the first page of LinkedIn search and eventually Google for your specific role. And I'll give you some example how it can affect or impact your personal brand. The second point is, you should be approachable. You should have an email ID or whatever way through which you want people to connect with you. This is also called call to action. So for example, I provide purpose coaching for people looking to create an impact. If you want to talk about purpose coaching, you can email me at xyz@gmail.com. Or if you are a mature emerging tech B2B startup looking to collaborate, connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my call to action. So each of you should have a call to action in your profile. Because if you don't have a call to action, I will come visit your profile, but I would not know what to do. How would I connect with you? What you can bring to me as a value, or what I could add to you as a value.
Excuse me. Can I
Yes.
ask it out? Yeah, we can connect that to the message in LinkedIn, na, right? What's the requirement of email? We can connect by message, no? That's my doubt.
Yes, so if you can put your questions, we will take all the questions at the end, so that we maintain the flow. Definitely, you can surely put your questions and we'll discuss those. Okay, so I'll give you an example here. So if you search purpose coach in LinkedIn, there are probably 1.3 million people as a result. And the top result, there are two people. And of course, Nitesh is there. He's also my coach. He comes at the top as a purpose coach. So if I'm looking for executive leadership coach, and if you are in that business, at least if not the top, you should be in the first or a second page of search. Because if you are in that page, then there's a very high chance that your potential client which are searching you on LinkedIn would be able to reach you quickly. And this is the ultimate target of every person on LinkedIn, is how optimize it your LinkedIn profile so that you can reach this level. Second, I took an example of Saji, who is also part of TMI group. If I search Saji's name on LinkedIn, the first result is his LinkedIn profile. That's what eventually we all should have. At least, if not the first result, then the first page of Google. Whenever I search your name and LinkedIn, it should pop up, because that would make you searchable. And this is what I'm talking is an outcome or the result of what we will do. So this is not you will start with, but this is eventually the outcome you will reach if you do all the activities and optimize your profile. Now, here are some of the tips. If you want to take notes, you can surely do that. We will also do that as part of the activity. Make sure your keywords are in the title. So if I'm a purpose coach or a business storyteller or a LinkedIn expert, these keywords are there in my title. It is also in my about section. It is also in my experience. It is also in my endorsement. That's how LinkedIn uses its search engine optimization to ensure that you are top in search results. Your primary keyword should be in the first line of the title. So title can have multiple lines, but ensure that your primary skill set are in the title line. And this is one of the key questions. You may say, I am a software engineer now, but I want to become a coach. So then what you should put in your profile? Should you put a software engineer or should you put a coach? Remember, whatever you put in your LinkedIn profile should be future looking. This is where you want to go, not what is your past. Because if you put what is your past, because LinkedIn will that optimize its search result based on what you have put, not where you want to reach. One of the options is you could test different keywords if you're not sure what is working, and then look at your search appearances. LinkedIn has a very powerful feature which is called featured section. This is a section which you can use to put your blogs, posts, articles, media. If you have got some awards, some recognition, this is a great place to highlight, because this is where people will look at your achievements if they want to glance at your profile. And use your LinkedIn real estate effectively. I will show you how to do that. Most of the people have a good headshot photo, but they don't have an engaging profile background. That's a very good place to be creative and you can use a free tool like Canva and do that. I've taken one example of Jaco, and he's part of TMI group, and he has an amazing LinkedIn profile, and I want to walk you through those examples. He has a very good background. If you see, he has put a book which he had written, a very good background, catchy background. He has also put clear expertise in his headline, which is he is a global head L&D. He can get 10x results as a coach mentor. He's an author and a global speaker. And similar kind of things are put in his about section. He's also used featured section very well, where he has given a talks and he has put those photos. And within his skill and endorsement also, you will see training, talent management, leadership, because all these are aligning. Are you able to see the screen? I see Darshana saying that she can't see the screen.
No, yes, we are seeing your screen.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Okay, I think Darshana, you may reconnect. Okay, so are you all with me? If you can say, if you're finding whatever I'm sharing till now useful, you can just type useful or you in the chat window. I'll like to have some feedback, because otherwise someone knock. Yeah. If you find this useful, just type you. Yeah. Great. Thank you, guys. Okay, now I'll share another powerful secret with you. How do people search on LinkedIn? This is very interesting, because this is now getting into details, and as they say, devil lies in the detail. So this is where you get the ultimate power of LinkedIn. So you have multiple filters, right? So if I want to search in India, how many people are working in Amazon, right? Who have also worked in Microsoft in the past, who are in IT industry and who speak English and who are from X University of Mumbai, I can do that kind of search. This LinkedIn filters, if you go to search and click on filters, will give you that power. Now, this is useful because if you want to connect to a very specific kind of audience, you can look at this. You can use this kind of feature. Okay. Okay. Now, you may ask, how do I create this LinkedIn banner? I'm not an artist. I'm not a designer. Believe me, guys, it will take less than 15 minutes. There's a free tool called Canva. It is one of the most widely used design tool. You go to Canva. I've given you search option also. Go to Canva, type LinkedIn banner. You will get number of banners. Pick up any banner, customize it, write the options. You can put your expertise, you can put some photos, you can put some names, and just use this as your background. This is also part of exercise 1, which we would be doing as a deadline by tomorrow and posting on LinkedIn group. See, this is kind of real estate, right? This is like you have an extra room in your house and you are not utilizing that room. You're basically have put a lock in that room, and I'm opening that. I'm giving you a key to that lock. Now imagine what all you can do in that room. You can use that room as a storeroom. You can display your books. You can have a playground for your kids. You can do a number of things. So that's the power of using the real estate of LinkedIn effectively. Thank you, Chintanbhai, for sharing that link. I think that's useful. Okay, so are you all with me till now? Type Y.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, now let's come to the LinkedIn dashboard for your profile. Now, LinkedIn dashboard, all of you, if you go to your LinkedIn, go to your profile section, you will see a dashboard. Dashboard is, of course, private to you, but it gives you some interesting statistics. Right? These are my statistics as of today. So it usually have a window, right? This post view count is only for the last post you have put. Okay, so this is not a comprehensive profile. But what is interesting is who viewed your profile. So in last 90 days, close to 7,000 plus people have viewed my profile. And I'll tell you the secret why so many people are viewing my profile. But if you go in detail and if you click on who viewed your profile, you will also come to know who are these people, which company they are from, which area they are from. Some of this data is available to you free. Some of it is kind of paid. You don't need to go into paid part now. I think 90% of LinkedIn features you can use free without paying any dime. But this will give you insights, because this will also help you organize what you are doing to attract the right kind of audience. Now look at search appearances. I have 943 search appearances, which means these many people are searching for me. They are either searching for me through LinkedIn or Google, but reaching on LinkedIn on my page. Now let me get into details. If you see the search stats for a week, they are searching for founders, software developers, consultant, information technology consultant, which means I'm getting these kind of people. People are looking for me, putting me under these buckets. The big question to ask for all of you is, do you want to be put in that bucket? For example, I am an aspiring business storyteller, which means I have to change my endorsement, I have to change my profile so that the right kind of people reach out to me. uh, where your searches work. So these will give you information about which companies these people are working in who are searching for you. So mainly they are IT folks, because that's where I also work. I've been working in IT domain for last 15 years. So hence there are people who are searching for me from that domain. Now the last part is very, very interesting. What keywords they use for searching me? It is a career coach. So I'm coming out in searches if people search for career coach or a business coach or a project manager and so on. Now let's come to our exercise 2. So exercise 1 was creating a headline in a background photo. Exercise 2 is how do you optimize your LinkedIn profile using the tips shared, right? So I've shared the tips that you should have the top 3 skills, and at least the first line. You should have those skills also listed in your about section, in your summary, in your endorsement. You should have your featured section put with your achievements if you have not done so, and have the custom background using Canva. This is day 2 exercise. If you have done it earlier, you can post it. We will give you feedback, but put your screenshot of your optimized profile on TMI LinkedIn group on day 2. Now let's come to the third part. This is a very, very important part. How do you leverage your connections? Yes, so I will share, Rishikesh. There are number of profiles. In fact, there are number of profiles within the group too, which are which are really kind of ideal profiles. You can also Google them, but we will take those questions at the end. Uh, Cleaning your profile is important. For example, Darshana said she has 6,000 connections, but is she getting at least 50% of those views in the post she is putting? For example, if Darshana is putting a powerful post, does the post has at least 3,000 views? If not, which means there are a lot of irrelevant connections. People who are either not active on LinkedIn or who are not engaging with your content. These are irrelevant connection. One of the option is if you can remove those irrelevant connections. Though this is a time consuming task, and I'll put it more as an option, but this is one way to leverage your connection. Second is to add people who are following leading people. So there are people, if you are looking from a coaching domain, there are top-notch coaches like Tony Robbins, and he would have probably 1 million followers. So people who are following Tony Robbins would also be your target audience if you are a coach. Or suppose you are working in IT domain, then it can be a Bill Gates or it can be Jeff Bezos, right? Or if you're working in manufacturing domain, it can be Anand Mahindra, right? So there can be number of leading people in your domain who are there on LinkedIn, and you can follow the people who are following the leading people, or you can follow the influencers and add influencers to your space, and I'll tell you how you can add those powerful influencers to your space. Now, the point there is, if you are sending a request to a high profile person in your industry or in your domain, why they would connect with you. So hence, the important thing is to follow the steps which we talked about in exercise 1 and exercise 2. If you have a powerful profile, there's a very strong chance, I will say there's a chance of more than 60 to 70% that people will accept your invite. But having said that, what adds beauty, if you want to increase your chances of adding a connection to say 80 to 90%, is a custom message. I will show you how. Now, the last point here is only 0.3% people like or comment. And if you are doing so, when I say like or comment, is if you are liking or commenting on posts of people whom you admire or whom you follow, then you are among the top 1%. And that is what will help you leverage your connections. Okay. So your exercise 3 is you have to send a custom invite to 10 people whom you want to connect. If we take a step back, you would understand that you have already identified what is your objective from LinkedIn, either personal brand, lead generation, or a new job. You have already identified who's your target audience. So it would be easy to identify who are the 10 people you want to connect from. So if you are looking for a dream job, your key people would be HR or hiring team from leading companies which you are aspiring for. If you are a coach, your key people would be people who can be your potential client. If you want to create a personal brand, you may want to connect people who are influencers on LinkedIn. So career coaching was something which was of interest to me. So I sent around 20 invites a couple of weeks back and had a 90% success rate, which means 18 people accepted my invite. In fact, I had a personal call with 10 of them. They gave me time, at least half an hour, to discuss what they're doing and also for me to share my experience. And this is one of the custom message. Hi Kamal, we have never met, but your profile came up when I was trying to find the top career coaches in India. Given that you have been in this field for some time, it would be great to connect with you. I'd like to learn more about your work in the area of career coaching. Now you can create your custom profile. There are a lot of templates also. You can do a Google search, but I've also given a link which I'll share with you, which you can use to find out a custom message. Remember guys, only 5% people send a custom message while sending an invite. And if you have a genuine message, there's a very, very high chance that person would accept your invite. If I give you some examples, I'm connected with some of the top leaders. If you take from startup world, we have listened about White Hat Junior, which got acquired 2 days back for $300 million. So I'm connected with Karan Bajaj, who is the CEO of White Hat Junior. I'm also connected with Tony Screwvala, who was the former CEO of UTV, and he sold United Television to Walt Disney for 8,000 crores. He is also a CEO of Upgrade, which is another edtech startup. I'm also connected to Professor Nirmal Kumar, who was the part of Tata Group board and one of the leading management thinkers in the world. And for almost all of them, I've sent a custom invite. And I told them what is the value proposition I'm looking for you from them, and how probably I would be able to benefit from their mentorship and guidance. So this works a lot of time. Are you all with me? Is it making sense?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Was this information useful? If you can type U. Activity 3, you want to connect with your potential client using a custom message and add them to your network. Okay, great. Now comes the last part, which is winning the content game. And I will tell you, even if you have 100 connects, 500 connects, it would not matter. What matters is what content you are putting. Content is the most important thing on LinkedIn, right? Now coming to the point, and these are small things, but these are very, very important, is when you post a content, right? So typical good time to post a content is morning 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I'll tell you why. Most of us are using LinkedIn on our mobile. These are also time when we wake up, when we do our normal day-to-day activities, and we may want to check what is interesting on LinkedIn. So that's fresh on our mind. Probably after post 2-3 p.m. we are busy and we are kind of wrapping up our work and engaging in some other activities. So there may be activities, but it usually tapers down in the second half. Uh, the second point is you have to be consistent in posting content, and consistency is the biggest hack for LinkedIn, I would say. If I give you some statistics, only 90% of LinkedIn folks, only 90% of the LinkedIn folks are consumers. That means they will only view interesting content. 6 to 8% are engagers, which will like, comment, share, and only 1 to 2% are creators. When I say creators, they are not one-off creators. They are regular creators. I'll give you an example. 3 days back, I created a post, and I'll tell you the hacks how to create a great post. I have probably 10 slides on that coming now. And this is based on my experience when I visited Harvard University in 2018 from my company's assignment, and I met Professor Clayton Christensen. He was the father of disruptive innovation. He's a top-notch guru in Silicon Valley, and he was the one who coined disruptive innovation, and he provided the consulting to top-notch companies like Intel. He was also formerly on board of TCS for several years and helped us guide our innovation agenda. And I took my book. I took a book which was written by him, get it signed by him. The thing is, this is my personal story, nothing fancy about it. I just posted the photo and the story. Uh, if I give you a number, this post has 33,000 views. My total connect count is 15,000, which means I'm getting 2x of my total connect as viewers on this post. And of course, the likes and comments are there, and they're very, very senior people within my organization and within outside the community who are also commenting and posting. But if you do this, again, it will increase your engagement exponentially. And I believe all of us have these stories, not that only I have. Each one of us has those life experiences, have those stories which people can learn, relate, or take something from. Okay, now this is creating consistent content is a difficult part, I would say, because it requires you to focus. You can do it if you are disciplined. You just have to spend half an hour, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, and you can create. At least you can post couple of times in a week to start with. Start with once a week, and you can move to twice or thrice a week. That is a good frequency. But the easier part to do it, you can engage with the other people's content and still win the content game. And I'll tell you how. So there are two types of content. One, which you create on your own post, which is like creating your own post, which is a short 1300 character post. You can create your own articles, which is a long form post, which has lesser engagement, but good brand value. You can create polls, you can post videos, and so on. One thing to remember here is lot of folks are interested to create viral content. Don't ever make creating viral content as your goal. Your goal should be to engage your audience and create value for that. Content becoming viral is eventually an outcome which will happen, but don't focus on that. That's not the goal. Consistency is the biggest hack I talked about. That means you have to be consistent with the content you're creating. Easier part, which you can do in just 10 minutes or 15 minutes a day, is if you have already done past 3 exercises, you have people who are influencers in your area or who are experts who you are following. You can simply engage with their content. One of the influencers I follow is Sandeep Kochar. He has several thousands of people who are following him. He's a great storyteller. And I just posted a comment on what he posted today, that he posted that I'm confused, I don't like coding, how do I pick up a kind of skill? So I told them that yes, the skill has to be aligned, the activity I want to learn has to be aligned to my core values, and we should try different activities and then pick up one. And there are engagements with people whom I don't even know. So there is an engagement from Adrian. Adrian is in US, I don't know her, but she's engaging my content, she is liking my content, which means she's a potential connect for me. And this would take you probably less than a minute, but it has to be a thoughtful comment. It has to bring your perspective. Don't put some random comment like, okay, great post, oh amazing, thank you. That doesn't create any relevance, because you are adding a value to a post. That's all is the content game. Okay, does these two content hacks, are you able to relate to both of them? Are you finding it useful? Just type Y. Okay, great. Let me move to now, what is the kind of content and how do you create that? And this is, see, whatever I'm sharing, I learned a lot of it from LinkedIn, from influencers, but this is all my experience. If you see, all the posts are from my own profile. I'm not there to, I believe that you have to first execute and then only you can tell people. This doesn't make sense for me to talk about some other people's story if I have not done it myself. So what does well on LinkedIn? The first part is story. And story does well because we are all born storytellers and story listeners. Story is something which we can relate, and we can visualize it, and we can remember it for long. So I created this post on happenstance, which is kind of phenomena, which is a chance of situation and which produce good results. And this is based on one of the professor from Stanford, John Crumbold's theory. And this post also related to the doodles I created, and I told them I created doodles, I posted, and TCS picked it up, and then this post has huge engagement, and that's how happenstance happened. And this is a story. Now this post has 732 probably like 70 comments, and probably more than six I'll say 6-figure views, just a single post. Now the tips to create that is, don't copy or create fake ones. I see a lot of people copying story without giving a credit. Eventually you will get caught. Probably LinkedIn will ban you, or someone will report you. So don't copy. If you're copying something, give them due credit. Don't create fake stories. It has to be from your life experience and surrounding. I'm sure all of us have those small experiences or stories which are very powerful. People will connect and they will like and comment. Simple. That period. That's what I want to say. If they relate to your story, they will like and comment, and that's what engagement happens. Now another content which does well is a case study. So case study is how you did something and how you can probably do following the same step. So a lot of us are in field of IT. We might be leading some challenging projects. How we overcome those challenges and made that project successful can be a case study. How you learned business doodles, so how do you learn new skills and then implemented it to get results can be another case study. I created a post a couple of weeks back on how I reached 13,000 connections. This was about 1 month back. Now I have 15,000 plus. And how I did it, I was sharing that this is like an analogy of a movie. So you create your profile photo and headline, which is teaser, and your profile summary is your trailer, and your profile is a movie. And people were able to relate. You see good engagement. You have 22,000 views. So several people were able to relate. They commented, they liked, and that's how the engagement was created. So a case study is a very good way to create original content on LinkedIn. If you are worried about confidentiality, you can always mask the name of the companies or mask the relevant data, but you can give the crux to your audience. Now, another interesting way to create powerful content in trend jacking. So if you can quickly type what is the current trend which is going on, what is the current news, what is the current headline in last 2 3 days you have heard, or this week, just type it in the chat. It can be new education policy, it can be acquisition of Whitehead Junior, it can be geo funding, right? All these are trends. Do you agree? If you can just type what are, yeah, TikTok banning corona, yeah, new normal, very good, very good. Okay. My one piece of advice is don't trend on any controversial, especially political and religious topics on LinkedIn, because those are not a territory which at least I would advise you to get into. I'm a firm believer of posting positive content, because that creates a lot of engagement. Yes, Microsoft acquiring TikTok. Yeah, so lot of things. You know, that new education policy, it impacts almost all of us. We have kids and they are impacted, right? You can have your own view. So this is called trend jacking. And what I posted on trend jacking is this was a couple of weeks back, and of course we all are at home and we don't have help of maids. So I was of course working and helping my spouse with all doing dishes and all. But I gave it a different twist. I told them, for me, this is a mindfulness meditation. For me, doing dishes without getting any distraction is a mindfulness meditation. That's my twist to it. So you are basically catching a trend which is going on, adding your perspective, a positive one, hopefully, and then putting it to your audience. That's a great way to create content. Now, another one is voicing your opinion. So voicing your opinion is your thoughts, which shows your knowledge and your credibility. Right? Now, one of the things is how do you create that credibility by creating a post which your audience can relate to. Now, I created this story where I talked about how are you managing your kids, their classes, your work. If your spouse is working, her work with the same kind of internet connection, same kind of place. So this is voicing your opinion, what you think about a certain situation. Now, I've talked about multiple things for creating content. One is a story, another is voicing your opinion, third is trend jacking, fourth is a case study. All of this can give you at least 10 posts each if you start creating those. Now, what is a perfect LinkedIn post? Perfect LinkedIn post, I mean to say, there are certain guidelines. If you follow those guidelines, your post would create lot of engagement. What happens if you see a post in your LinkedIn, even on your mobile or a laptop, you will only see the first 2 or 3 lines of a post. It doesn't open. So LinkedIn has come up with a new algorithm called Dwell. So it is basically, it sees if the post is generating interest from the user, and that's the post it would promote to other users. So the first 3 lines of your post is your hook, right? So if you see, I've created a lot of hooks, so the hook here was, I've been fortunate enough to build 13,000 connections. So that's the hook. You want to read how this person has created 13,000 connections. Or do you know what is happenstance? Again, that's a hook. That's a new term. So the first 3 lines is a hook, and that is where you should engage your audience to open the post. The middle part of the story is which should keep user engaged, and the end is a call to action. Call to action can be comment. You can ask their views. If you are providing some kind of services, say a coaching or a mentoring or some kind of product, you can ask them to connect you through this channel, through through your email. You can also give them an invite for your webinar, for your next session, and so on. These are all call to action. One thing to avoid is a bulky long paragraph. paragraph. Typically, you should break your post into smaller lines because that's easier to view on your mobile. That's perhaps also visually good for the eyes. It's more readable, mobile optimized, and it is short. And one more thing to take care is have only 3-4 broad hashtags. I've seen people using 10-20 hashtags from start to end of their post. That creates a lot of distraction. LinkedIn usually promote posts which has not more than broad hashtags. So if you were writing about business storytelling, you can say storytelling, business storytelling, impact making, and so on. Be authentic or not fake. Don't talk about political or sensitive topics, and don't share LinkedIn post. This is a very powerful hack I'm sharing with you. If you put a link in a post which is an external link, say link to a news on Times of India, link to a YouTube video, or link to any other thing, what happens is that link will take your user to a place outside LinkedIn, and LinkedIn never wants you to do that. So LinkedIn algorithm will put your post on a lower order. It would not promote that post because it is taking users out of LinkedIn. So in that case, you should always put the link in the comment section. The last one is don't share videos of other platforms. Again, due to the first reason, it will take you outside the LinkedIn section. I'll take a pause here and I'll like your inputs, on the chat. Is the content section useful? If useful, you can write you can write useful, or you can write you. If you're getting a value out of this session, you can write V. Thank you, because your comments help me get motivated that people are able to get some value or finding it useful. Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Gaurav, we are.
Yeah, you can keep questions. You can put your questions, and Chintan Bhai will let me know, and I'll take those questions in the end. We
Sure,
would have,
I will take all the questions at
yes,
the end of the session. So
we will have at least 45 minutes for questions. I'm just wrapping up in next
you
couple
can
of
just put an indicative word question while you start the question, then it would
Yes.
help me locate because there are a lot of chat going in parallel, right? Thank you so much. Let's continue, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll tell you the power of content. Okay. Uh, so if you see the figures below, I put this once this post was put, I had 6,500 views on my profile. Normally I'll get 100-200 views. This is of course data for a couple of weeks, but if you put a powerful views, for example, see this. Before this post came, within a period of 2 weeks, my profile views increased by almost 3,000. And why would that happen is because if you put a powerful post, or if you are being the post is shared by your company or by influencer, you would see exponential rise in people viewing your profile. And that's also a good way. If you have kept your profile as a star profile, all star profile, if you have checked all the boxes, then you would be able to leverage those views. If you don't have a great profile, then people will come, see, and go away. They would not engage. You should either have a call to action or call to connect, or you should have some value for your people who are viewing your profile. Now let's come to the exercise 4. The exercise 4 is you have to pick up a topic, right? And you can select a type of post. So I gave you number of examples. I gave you a story, a case study, or a trend jacking, or a voicing your opinion. Start with a hook and build the story, and end with a call to action. You can post this story on day 4. That's the maximum deadline. If you want to post it earlier, you should post it. Reply or engage with everyone who drops a comment. This is a very, very powerful hack. My recent post, which I put on Professor Clayton, it has 32,000 views. It has 80 comments. Probably half of them would be mine. That's absolutely okay, because I'm engaging with each and every person who has put a meaningful comment. So one of my company's talent and development professional, he put an interesting comment that his wife interviewed Professor Clayton in 2007, and he posted a link of Mint newspaper where this interview was published. So I posted a comment on top of that. That's amazing, because all those points he said 13 years back are still relevant. So this creates another kind of engagement for you. Your viewers and your audience are able to see that the content is engaging. There are a lot of comments, and LinkedIn also promotes those posts which sees bigger engagement. Last, you have to update this on TMI LinkedIn group. This is a very, very simple exercise, but remember, friends, if you do these 4 exercises, you will get in a habit of creating powerful content, using your LinkedIn effectively, and getting value out of LinkedIn. But the important point is action or execution. Execution matters. Listening is okay, learning is good, but execution is the best thing. Okay, so that is where I finish my session in terms of what I wanted to cover. I have a lot of other things, but maybe it's part of the next session which I may take in future. But these are the 4 exercises which I gave you. I also gave you a couple of tips: how to update your LinkedIn profile, how to create your headline, how to create your background image, how to create content, how to engage with users. Now I'll be open to take any questions. If you may put your questions in the chat window, I'll be happy to take them, and we look forward for your participation in the LinkedIn TMI LinkedIn 4-day exercise, which we are planning to start from tomorrow. You all will get great value out of it. That's what I can say.
Great. Thanks, Gaurav. If you can just put off your screen sharing, then all of us would put on our video, and then you'll be able to see the person who is asking the question as well.
Sure.
So let us start. Thanks, Gaurav. Definitely, this has been the most useful, and I mean, I would say one of the webinar which is full of actions, because other webinars were kind of informative ones, but this one is something wherein it adds value to our LinkedIn profile, and definitely not many of us are LinkedIn experts. So that is where this webinar is something which is a starting point, and doing something here and there every week would definitely help make it more better. So thank you for the same, and let us begin our Q&A session. Request who would like to go first? Kindly put on your video, unmute yourself, and share your query.
Can I take the question?
Yeah, Deepak, go ahead.
Hi, Gauravji. Just as
Hi,
you
Deepak.
shared, just as you shared, if we share the links of other channels, it takes the person out of that. So, what if we share some recording sessions and share the link onto that? Is that fine, or should that go in the comment box itself?
That is fine, Deepak. There is no hard and fast rule, but typically what I've observed is LinkedIn algorithm doesn't promote posts which has some links. So you can always post link if it is from LinkedIn in your post itself. If there is any other link about your own webinars, your own recordings, you can always post that in comment. You can mention in the last line of your post that please see comment for my session or for my webinar or for my recording.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Murthy sir, please go ahead, sir.
I'm Dr. K.R.S. Murthy. Very good presentation, Mr. Gandhi, and thank you, Mr. Chintan Oza, for inviting me. I'm a world famous part-time executive on the board of governors of companies, and there is a full profile I have posted, and it's available for anyone to see in my profile. I'm interested in connecting only to heads of states of countries. It's my requirement is a special requirement. I was a close friend of Abdul Kalam and TCS. I was an advisor to the previous CEO, FC Kohli and S. Ramdurai. I know them, their wives, their fathers-in-law, their sons, and I advise their sons and so on. And you mentioned people like Steve Wozniak. I've inducted him into a Hall of Fame. You know, many things that I have done. I know who is who. I have inventions and paradigm shifts and paradigm reversals and seminal contributions in more than 25 verticals. Totally unconnected. I was a professor of 6 departments, winning the best professor award, breaking all the historical records at one time concurrently. Has numerous accomplishments in literature, poetry, Rangoli, major inventions, etc. How do I maximize what I can do? But I'm still very active, still very energetic, and I started at 4:30 my time here in California to be on my favorite country people from India, and so. How do I maximize? I have an idea to create what's called a who is who levels in LinkedIn. I'm not trying to take away other people, but there is a requirement for that kind of people, you know, global level people. I don't mean LinkedIn, right? It could be anything. And I have been listed in who is who in world, who is who in America already. But I'm still active, and I currently have done major inventions during COVID time. I worked day and night as if it's tomorrow's exam, right? That is the energy I have. I can take advice from any of you. I don't mean only one other thing. And I have a high respect for Mr. Chintan Oza already. And Gaurav Gandhi, I'm his fan. He's a very good speaker, covered very well, very succinct, very clear. And also, if he was still working for TCS, I could have called my friend Ram Durai and other people and say, hey, this guy is good, right? So, yeah, this is my question, what to do.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for your kind words. And I think your profile is amazing, and we are all privileged to listen to you. My only 2 cents, probably I don't have that kind of experience to even give you guidance here, is there are, of course, top-notch people like heads of states and all on LinkedIn, but they are not active. People who are active are typically people who are young, who are students, who are early age professionals.
Yeah.
Right? They are the people who are more active on LinkedIn. I think maybe there would be a good idea to have your own, content outside LinkedIn through your.
It is there.
Yes.
I write so many blog spots routinely.
Yes.
And I have done inventions just recently in astrology, astronomy, cosmic. I routinely write. I have no life. This is what I do. So I just want to make sure that if you have any pointers now or later, feel free. And my email address is very simple: bigdataexpert@gmail.com. You will not forget. And I'm a big data expert. I've done 25 conferences in big data, AI, machine learning, neural networks, and also blockchain, ICO, etc. I have who is who, over 40,000 attendees have come through my conference in these topics, plus about 2,500 CEO levels in each of these the topics. They're all who big companies covering every vertical. Some of the verticals you may not even know that exist. I happen to.
Sure, sir. I think, Chintan, you should have the next workshop from Dr. Murthy.
Yeah,
That-
definitely. So
that
I
I
will
can
have
do.
common knowledge.
I'll be
So
glad
I-
to. I want all of you to do it, and I'll be glad to be on the listening side as well. It doesn't have to be the speaker all the time.
Great, sir. Sir, definitely. So I would share my cent. I would say not 2 cents because Gaurav is much more knowledgeable as far as the LinkedIn is concerned. I would refer similar conversation I was having with someone from Geneva, and then that is where we were discussing about his stint at World Economic Forum, and that is where we were discussing certain things about the topic what you raised. And I will share what we discussed maybe through offline chat, or I will call you maybe later in the night so that at least you would have
No,
freshened up.
don't worry about the time and all that. I'm awake practically
It
24
is
hours.
our indeed. It is indeed our pleasure that you woke up at around 4 o'clock your time to attend.
No,
this
no,
webinar.
actually, I didn't wake up because I was listening to some major videos and routine. I'm routinely active. I'm learning,
Yes, sir.
learning.
Yes, sir. I know that you are really inspiration for all of us. I mean,
Don't worry
I
about
wish
the
you
time.
remain.
Just call me anytime. I'll be glad to pick up the call. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll call you.
Okay.
And
I would like to congratulate you, both of you on this. Yeah.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your blessings and good wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Who would like to go next, please? Kindly put
We
on your video
Can we
camera.
have more questions?
Yeah, Dr. Jubilant, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. I'm Dr. Jubilant, and my question is that you told that there should be some email or something to connect, and my question was regarding why can't we go for, I mean, LinkedIn has messaging option, and that will be right for connecting others, right? That's my question.
Yes, yes, you can go, Dr. Julian. It was just a suggestion. A lot of people don't put their emails. But what happens, say, if you are a coach or you are a consultant and you want to basically engage with your audience on a separate one-on-one conversation and provide some business to them or a service, then email is a good option. But you can always have LinkedIn messaging connect with your audience. That's always there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Jubilant. Who would like to go next? Yeah, KD, go ahead. KD, go ahead.
Yeah. Gaurav, it was very nicely, covered, session. Thank you very much for your inputs or insights into how to leverage, LinkedIn for growing your business. So my question is pertaining to the timing of posting, because I'm a frequent user and very active on LinkedIn. But you said 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So normally I post at around 5 a.m. So what happens to those posts? Because that's the time when I'm creatively at my best.
I know. So, sir, it's not a problem. That's very suggestive timing. Suggestive in the sense that is where people wake up and then they check their post. You can post anytime. There are other options where you can use probably some tools to schedule your post that may come probably at a slightly advanced level. You can search them, but 5 a.m. is absolutely fine. The problem is typically when you post midnight or late night, then people probably are not on LinkedIn. In fact, early is good. That's absolutely fine.
So,
Fine.
KD, I have input. I mean, personal
Yeah.
experience I would like to share.
Yeah, tell me.
So there are two types of posts which I usually do, which is a kind of target audience. If I want Indians to read it, then I pin, 9 to 12 kind of thing, so that after lunch people will browse and then they will see my post. If it is meant for people back in the US, then I prefer their time, and that is where the magic works, because by the time you wake up and then a hell lot of people are just posting their post, and then your post would become one of them. So try to, if you want, let's say, if you want to engage someone in Australia or targeting some specific region, try to be in their 9 to 1, and then you would get a better, traction. So that's something.
Yes,
I would say.
that's right, Chintan. It's also contextual, which kind of audience you are planning to engage, and their local time, probably daytime, is the best.
Yeah, yeah.
Typically,
Thank you. Thank you.
time between breakfast and lunch is something for any region. I mean, if you want to engage people in Canada, or if you want to engage someone in, I did that experiment, and that is how I could get a lot of interaction and feedback. I hope
I
that
have a
answers your
question.
question.
Yeah.
Yes, Dhawan,
Yes, yes,
go
yes.
ahead.
Ah,
Yes,
so,
please go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Gaurav, when one should go for a LinkedIn premium profile?
Yeah, so it is more of a selling strategy, sir. What I would say, I mean, I've never used LinkedIn Premium. Primarily, if you see, there are two kind of people which use LinkedIn Premium. One, of course, there are people who are in recruitment department in various companies, right, who want to reach out through email and various kind of other options to their target audience. There are other people who are basically again lead generators or B2B, sales people. They also use. But for, I will say, 90 to 95% of regular folks who want to achieve any of these target, personal brand building, looking for job, or creating an impact, they don't need to go for LinkedIn Premium.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much, Gaurav and Dhaval. Who would like to go next? Okay, let me have a roll call kind of thing now. Ashfaq, Akshay, Amit, either of you can just put on your video camera and share questions if you have. Anand, Anuradha, Arjav. Okay. Biren, Paresh, and Pari. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, is it Gaurav, again, one more question? Is it good to post survey or poll kind of question related to profile or the kind of challenges one may be facing? For example, I am in IT, so can I poll something related to digitalization challenge or cloud challenge or something like that?
You can surely post, sir, but what would happen is polls typically give you a kind of dipstick survey, right? You want to know, say, what is a new trending technology, whether it's quantum or a crypto. You can post that, but would it create an engagement? That's a bigger question. And what's your purpose? You can occasionally put the polls. That's absolutely fine. It's also give you an idea of probably where to post. So if people are more interested in quantum computing, maybe that can be your next topic.
True.
Yeah, so that's a good way to create kind of get a survey or a pulse of the audience. What do we say?
Okay.
Get it.
This is Chandra. Am I audible, Chandra?
Yeah, please. If you can put on your video, we would be able to see you, sir.
Okay, let me try that. A bit of a bandwidth challenge. So first of all, thank
Yeah,
you,
go
Gaurav,
ahead.
and yeah, thanks, Chintan. Thanks, Gaurav. Very, very profound and impactful session. So thank you for organizing it out, and Gaurav, thanks for walking us through the specifics of it. I have one specific question, though many of them, but one which is standing out is more around the creating the powerful and impactful content. What I would like to understand, maybe seek your advice as well. Are there any specific best practices or guidance, that you would like to share in a scenario when, let's say, you are reading a book and a quote or a para caught your attention, and that in some sense is relevant. You believe that, right? How do we go about it? Like, what are the thoughts around that? If that you can share some insights on that, would be helpful.
Chandra, you brought a very good point, and thanks that you find the session valuable. I think that's one important point which people who are bibliophile, who are regular readers, can use to their advantage. Right? So you may be reading a very good book which has a powerful quote. Right? Now, quote, there are people, I have not shared their details, but you can Google them. There's a guy called Nathan. Nathan is a manager in Deloitte, India. His post consists of only 2 lines. Every post consists of only 2 lines. And that post would have probably
It seems we lost Gaurav. Gaurav, are you there?
Yes, voice is a problem.
Yeah. It seems he has a challenge with the internet.
Okay.
Maybe he got dropped.
In the meanwhile, I want to suggest for the quantum computing topic that you someone mentioned, I am doing a quantum computing global conference, but I can do one for you guys separately. I can bring in, I can also speak on quantum computing and quantum communications with quantum entanglement based cryptography that can be done. And depending on how much time you have, I can do a full day seminar, full day with bringing who is who speakers. I can bring major panelists, people like IBM Almaden director, who is my close, and these are my close friends. I can do it, but
Definitely,
we
sir.
need, plan and publicize early enough.
So we would love to, because the participant mix is something which is a kind of CXOs, professionals, academicians, and students. So
Yeah.
we would love if you can help us get a kind of 2 to 3 hour quantum compute specific session, wherein it would be a kind of primer. It would be a primer because none of us are techies as we have
No,
in
I know.
IEEE.
It's a primer. Plus what we need to do is,
Yeah.
what we need to do is speaker on quantum computing, quantum communications is as important, which has a quantum entanglement, photon
I
entanglement.
guess, sir, if we can have someone to discuss quantum compute, because quantum communication is probably a high-level topic for all of us.
Got it. Just quantum computing to start with. Okay.
Exactly.
I got your
Now you get me.
suggestion very well,
Now you get me.
and we will
None
do
of us would be using quantum communication.
panelists answering questions also.
Great, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Do we have Gaurav back? Yes.
Yeah,
Then,
here we go.
thank you so much, Gaurav, for joining again. Do we have any questions from Deepak Rawal?
Gaurav, I have a
Anuradha, go
question.
ahead.
This is Anuradha. Now, as we go through this process of improving our effectiveness on LinkedIn, some of the tips you've given us, the exercises, what are the metrics by which we get to know that it's making a difference? There's some obvious ones, like let's say the views, things like that. But is there anything else we should keep an eye out for so we know it's working or not?
Anuradha, very, very relevant question, because what you can measure, you can improve, right? As we say in corporate world. So one, of course, as you talked about, when you view your profile, you would see profile views, right, in your personal dashboard. So your profile views would increase if you're creating powerful content. Of course, you would start getting more connection requests. That's the second count, right? Your connect requests should increase. For me, I set up a target. I started with 11,000 connects in April. So May, June, July. So in 3 months, I have increased that connect count to 4,000. So I have an average connect, count or increase of 1,000 per month. That's what I've kept for myself. You can keep it for 100, 200, which is like 20 connects every day. So if you're creating powerful content, are you getting the right kind of audience which are sending you connection requests? That's the first thing. Second, the number of views on your content. That's the second. Number of course, likes, number of comments. These are other two metrics. So these are typically 4 metrics. If you move to a more mature level, that would happen when people will start tagging you to their post to get more engagement. So which I showed you as an example. There was a lady in US who posted me in her content on storytelling because she knew me as a business storytelling expert. So that's the final kind of, I will say, metrics which you can measure.
Okay, makes sense, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thanks. I guess in the process, I mean, my question got addressed, and I was to ask that what are the KPIs? I would say you shared KQIs, but what are the KPIs? And that's where you answered half of it. And yes, definitely. Let us move on. Do we have who goes next? Let me have a roll call once again.
Chintan, there was a question that was asked by Chandar. In the meantime, we lost Gaurav. if
Yeah.
Gaurav can probably answer that, it'll, we are actually looking forward to that answer.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure,
What is
sure.
the question?
Chandar,
Regarding the content, you were answering something when we lost you.
Yeah,
What
I
kind
was
of
about to say
content?
that. Thanks, Vinay, for bringing it up. So Gaurav, the question was more around any best practices and advices for a quote from book, and you were calling about the Nathan, and I think that's where the line got dropped.
Yes.
You want to restart that, please?
Yeah, so there are, Chandra, what I would say, each one of us has to find our core or find what I call our own style. So there are people like Sandeep Kochar who writes a story. Every day he would write a story and that would have amazing engagement. There are people like Nathan, who's from Delight. He would write only 2 lines, and that would also have an amazing engagement. There are people who would post videos that would also has amazing engagement. There are people who would post photos, and photos would have a infographic that would also have an amazing engagement. So book post, what I would say, the quotation part which you said is a very, very powerful way to create engagement. If you can put a quote from a book, and also what your audience would get out of that quote. Can they use that quote in their day-to-day life? Can they get inspired? Can they get motivated? If they are able to do so, that post would definitely have a good engagement. Chandra, have I answered your question?
Yes, you did. Sorry, I was about to say yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Vinay, for bringing this up.
Yeah, thanks. I
Hital-
had one question.
Oh, yes, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
So, when we are trying to, reach out to people, and then probably we'll send them, a personal message to connect
Yeah.
with them. So, at what point can we, differentiate that we are not spamming them?
Okay.
So, I mean, are there any rules that, put in by LinkedIn, which,
Okay.
actually,
That's a very good question. Probably that part of my advanced session, but I would cover since you asked. So there are 2 things. LinkedIn would have a limit. If you send too many connect requests a day, LinkedIn will block you for a day. It has happened with me in the past. It has happened with many of my colleagues. So if you send 100 requests a day, LinkedIn will block you because that's a spamming. It's like you are using LinkedIn free version for a commercial purpose, right? You might be a recruiter or you might be doing some sales, but you are spamming people. And most of that would also happen when those people will not accept your request because you are sending requests to random or unknown people. So that's one point to take care. Second point is again not directly related, but it's a hack for all of you. When you send a request to a person who's not known to you, there are some things which you can do which will make sure that your chances of connect increases exponentially. One, create a personalized message when you are putting a request, and personalized message should be based on what person is doing, what you find relevant in his profile, what he can add value to you and you can add value to him. That's first point. Second point is engage with his content. If he has put a post, comment on it, like it, put a thoughtful comment. So it's like what we say in this world, what is there on your mind is what will create an impact. So if say Nirmalya Kumar, he has seen me commenting on his post and then I send him a request next day with a personalized message, there's a very high chance that he will accept that. Hope I answered your question, Vinay.
yes. These are very insightful tips. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Who goes next? Hital, Kaval, Krishanand, Lalit, Malvika, Matthew, Mitra, Murthy sir, Bibi
I had
Murthy
a question,
sir.
Gaurav.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah, hi, Gaurav. Thank you for the wonderful session. Gaurav, if you can also give guidelines around the invites that we see in the LinkedIn, many times I feel they may not be relevant as you said, the audience or the people whom you want to create impact with, right? So how do you decide on the invites, like who you should accept or not? That is one. Second, the kind of request that you send, as you suggested, you can have a fixed set of people, let's say 10 requests that you are sending. Many times, like, you may not be clear. So is there a better way to even choose whom you are sending requests to?
Yeah, sure. So very good question, Deepak. I would answer those questions in two parts. I think that would be helpful for everyone who is still on the session. First, there is no fixed rule whose request you should accept. There are ground rules, and you should play by your ground rules. One, how many connects you have. If you have very less connect, it makes sense to accept requests which are also coming from unknown people who are also kind of part of your audience, right? So two people who request you should accept. One, who is your target audience? So suppose you are a coach, so people who are looking for coaching or are professionals are your target audience, right? But there are also people like students who are not your potential client, but who would engage with your content. That is also your target audience. Because if you create content and there are very senior people in your connection list, they would not engage with your content. They might be busy. There might be CXOs or CEOs who would be good to have connect, but they would not engage with your content. So engagement happens at a lower level. People who are students, early age professionals, who are interested in your profile, they would create engagement. So both these folks should be accepted while they send you a connection request. Now, third thing is, there are people who would not accept connection requests from people whom they don't know. That's also a good rule, but I'm probably a LinkedIn open networker, so I accept most of the requests. If I see the person has a genuine profile, he has a photo, he has done some activity, he's engaging on LinkedIn, and he is relevant. That's what I found. And Deepak, does that answer your first part?
Yes.
Then I can move to the second part. Okay. The second part you asked. Sorry, if you can repeat. I'm not able to recall the entire question. What was the second part?
The second one was about when we are sending requests, right? So you partly answered, like, how do we know about a genuine profile, right? By just looking at their LinkedIn profile, how do we know the person and whether it is a genuine person, right?
Yeah, so you will know. You will know that from his activity. You will know it from his profile. You will know whether he has updated his profile. He has updated his experience. He has updated his education level. He has endorsement. The most powerful thing is recommendation. I didn't cover it. Probably it's for a future workshop. So recommendation is something which you can definitely look at if you are looking for a really good person. The more recommendation he has, that means more genuine he has in terms of people, validating his skills.
Gaurav, Gaurav, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, nice. I think in between, for some time, I lost contact because of my poor network, but I could hear some of the highlights. I think you have brought out very good features. One thing which differentiates LinkedIn from other social media sites is more professional, and people of the same interest and occupation, they come together. Unlike WhatsApp or Facebook, where you get all sorts of crowds, sometimes it becomes very difficult. Nowadays, as you know, we become members of so many groups and all that become difficult to manage. That way, it's more focused. It's very good. One aspect, I don't know whether you covered, you may have covered also. Of late, I've done LinkedIn is promoting a lot of online education and certification. Okay, so
yes.
In fact, our college also recently they have started a sort of initiative whereby we could go to the LinkedIn and get some of the courses, start doing it ourselves, and then recommend to the students. So, but I think they charge also some nominal fees for each course. So there I saw this particular thing called, if you want to buy the if you want to buy the course, you pay 900,000. What do you mean by that? Does it mean that you get a certificate, or you just buy means what?
Yeah, so I will tell you that's a good point you brought. Of course, with due to shortage of time, we couldn't cover. It's a very vast topic. So LinkedIn Learning is their education offering, right?
Yeah.
They are, of course, reaching out to a lot of corporates. My own company has a LinkedIn corporate profile, so we can do any courses on LinkedIn for free, and we can get a certificate. They're also reaching out to education institution, as you said, sir. You would have used it for your education institution. I will give you one hack there. If you want to try it, it is free for 1 month. You can put your credit card, use it for 1 month, experience it, do a couple of courses. You can do in a couple of hours, and then you can cancel it if you don't want to continue. The charge per month is 1,400 rupees. They are very good courses, very good professional courses, but it depends on all of you how you want to leverage it.
Oh, very good. I mean, I'll take 1 more minute if Chintan permits me. So basically, since I come from the supply chain background, basically we are looking for course in the area of project management, Lean Six Sigma, quality, and things like that. I could not look at many courses, but I'll have to do more study and find out. So what I found was a Lean Six Sigma with all the 13 modules costs around 40,000 rupees, the course with certification, which is better. I mean, as you said, you buy for 1 month and then go for that, or you pay individually. I mean, which is in terms of the cost to the student. Basically, I'm looking at the cost to the student.
I think, I mean, if you take my personal opinion, I might not be expert in that. There may be other, options which may be better, sir. You can look at MIT edX. You can look at Coursera. They are better in terms of because that is their core expertise, to create great content using university expertise and offering it to people. Even if student doesn't want to take it as a credit course, they can still take it on an audit mode where they don't get a credit, but they get all the content.
Oh, great.
So,
only one more request.
Murthy sir, for this I would connect you to the right resource, and who would be happy to help the students, and then they are also, I mean, very well recognized in the industry. So definitely, I'll help you for students. Sure, sir.
Meanwhile, if you can also share Gaurav's ID, I will keep in touch with him.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Chetan.
Thank you, sir. Ojas Bhai, Rajni, Ravi, Shashwat, Shazia.
Allow me for one question.
Yes.
Yeah, Shashwat, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, thanks Gaurav for conducting such a thoughtful session, and thanks Chintan for taking us through everything, moderating it. So Gaurav, I have a couple of questions. First is regarding the banner you mentioned about. So what exactly should we use in banner? Should it contain keywords? Let's say if I am good in communication or sales or marketing, should it contain keywords like this, which I'm currently doing, or should it contain keywords or something like that, which I want to aspire for in my future roles? And what kind of an image should it carry? That is one question I have. Second question I have is that I'm also a budding blogger sort of a person. So you mentioned that external links we should avoid, considering how LinkedIn algorithm works. So how about if I want to maximize my reach on my blog? How about I use links of my blog on my LinkedIn? I am completely aware that LinkedIn blogging is also there. You can use LinkedIn blog. But if I have a separate blog, how do I utilize LinkedIn for increasing reach on my other social media platform or other blog for that matter?
Thanks, Ashwath, and thanks for your feedback. We found the session useful. Those are very good questions. The first question I'll answer. What you put on your LinkedIn banner, it's a very subjective thing, right? So there are two approaches you can take. You are, say, a communication expert, but you are also an aspiring blogger, right? So communication can be, of course, part of there, but you can also put as an aspiring blogger or a blogger there. There's no hard and fast rule what you want to put. The point is, what is the purpose of putting a banner? A banner is basically, it gives you in an instance a picture of a person person. So if I would look at your, and I would immediately recognize Sarshad as a communication expert, and he's also a blogger, and I would make a decision in my mind whether Sarshad would be able to add value to me. That's how I think. Okay. So and what pictures you want to put, you can be as creative as possible. Search on LinkedIn, search on Google. You will find people putting different kind of posts. You will find people putting very professional posts where you are sitting in front of a computer blogging, or you are putting a post of a blog. My blog reached a milestone of 1,000 viewers, and so on. So you can be as creative as possible. You can also experiment. You can keep on changing this banner. If you see kind of engagement not happening, maybe a week or a 15 days, try that. So that answers your first part of the question. Second, sorry, I forget, what was the second part of question? If you can just quickly tell me.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the first part of the answering the first part. The second part of the question was related to the blog which I have and maximizing reach of that blog through LinkedIn.
Yes. So I will give you my example. I have a Twitter account. So what I put in my profile, if you want to connect with Gaurav, you can follow @Gaurav9U. That's my Twitter handle. So one, your blog, whatever address is there, it should be part of your profile, right? Your summary. That's one thing. Second is when you're putting a thoughtful post, you can always put, please refer to my blog in the comment section. Please see my blog for more details. Or I have this wonderful post coming up on my blog. You can view it. Please see comment section. So you can always put all those links in the comment section. There's no hard and fast rule that you should not put on post. You can put, but you will soon see, if you experiment, that engagement of that post usually goes down through LinkedIn algorithm.
Fair enough. Thanks a lot, Gaurav, for answering this.
Thanks, Gaurav. Arjo, are you around? Please go ahead.
Yes. Thanks for nice session, Gaurav. And thank you, Chintan, for providing us such a beautiful platform, which is we can say innovative and more on technology. So my question is that LinkedIn give us suggestion for connects and people who people who view other person. So is it helpful to connect with them if they are relevant, or what kind of algorithm is used by LinkedIn? If you can give your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so LinkedIn.
Can you put on your video, please?
Thanks, Arjo. Thanks for your feedback and question. So as I said, let's go back to the basic. You want to connect to a person, right? And there can be multiple reasons, but if you define your reason, that you can take a call very quickly, right? I usually connect with students because I have business storytelling or a personal branding or a mentoring or a coaching as my area of expertise, and they can definitely engage with my content and get value. I also accept, invite, or connect with coaches, career coaches, purpose coaches, leadership coaches, because that is also my target audience. I also connect with startup folks. I also connect with venture capitalists because that's my target audience. So if you have already defined your target audience or your purpose of LinkedIn very well in the first exercise, you will be able to take this call very easily. Typically, my suggestion is be open to accept connection requests. LinkedIn is a professional network. It's a professional platform. And most of the time, they are very, very genuine requests and they would add value. If you see there are people who may send a request to you, I want to connect you, I want a job in your company, you can of course politely say no. Even if you want, you can unfollow them, or you can remove the connection request. That's absolutely okay. But you should be able to, what I call it, take a leap of faith and jump. Because unless you jump, you sit on fences, you will not get the entire power of LinkedIn. You have to jump and see what works for you.
Okay. Yeah. So got my answer. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Shazia. Please, if you can put on your video, you go next.
Hi, Gaurav. It was a really wonderful session, and thanks, Chintan, for conducting it so well. Gaurav, this question is a little profound one. we have been watching LinkedIn till a few years back, wherein the posts were only, very professionally related. So now, since some time, we see a little offbeat post also coming on LinkedIn. A lot of people have jumped into LinkedIn, wherein where I come across, I see a lot of Facebook stuff also coming in out there. There is a lot of education being sold out here on LinkedIn, and a lot of other stuff as well. So, you being a LinkedIn expert, how do you see LinkedIn growing from here, and how much of authenticity of LinkedIn will be preserved in the due course of time? Because we spend a lot of time, energy, and efforts. That is the time allocation we are giving behind, creating our connects. That's my
Thanks,
question,
Ajia.
Gaurav.
Thanks for your feedback, and that's a great question. Probably that moves us to advanced level of LinkedIn when you are already and have created your profile, have identified your target audience, identified your purpose, and then when you start engaging, you see a lot of new folks, as you rightly said, have jumped in on LinkedIn bandwagon. Right? You're right. I would put it this way: whatever statistics you may pick up, whatever statistics, LinkedIn or outside LinkedIn, LinkedIn is the platform for professional networking in the world. There is no other second option which is anywhere close to it, because of the 700 million people and the kind of engagement it is producing. Now, of course, it also depends on us what kind of profiles, what kind of post we are seeing in our kind of a board, that board, or what I will say when we scroll. And I found this and I observed it myself. Recently, I've started following a lot of people who are coaches, who are experts, who are venture capitalists, who are PE investors, who are startup founders. And LinkedIn has probably tweaked its algorithm because it is showing more of that kind of content, which I am following. So once you have kind of followers, kind of connects which are posting serious content, you will also see that kind of content reflecting in your profile. A lot of students have jumped into LinkedIn and earliest professionals, and they are posting a lot of content now, which is more about kind of Facebook kind of content. But I'm sure LinkedIn will ensure that their content is not promoted versus the content which is more profound and which is more useful from a professional perspective. Having said that, we don't have any control over LinkedIn algorithm. So my only advice is engage with content you find useful. And probably if you see a lot of content coming which is not relevant, then you can unfollow the people who are posting those content, and you can always click on that content that you would hide this post from your view, so that LinkedIn has an idea that what kind of post you would like to see.
Okay. Hey, thanks for that meaningful advice, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Shahjia, for participating. Shahjia is one of our newest joinees in TMI community. Sudhakar, Sunil, Vasant. Okay, I guess there are no questions. Fine. On behalf of all of us and TMI community, I would request Anuradha. Anuradha, if you can put on your video and extend
Actually,
vote of thanks.
Chintan, I'm having some problem with my cam. I've been trying,
Okay.
yeah.
Sure,
So sorry
please
about
go
that.
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
please go
but Gaurav, on behalf of TMI and all the participants on this call, a big thank you to you. Frankly, I think we've all been having our own share of such workshops online, and some hold our attention and some don't. But this was definitely one that held our attention, and I think that's because of how you structured it with a lot of examples. The pace was just right. And I think you've gotten us started on this journey of improving our visibility and effectiveness on LinkedIn. So thank you for that. I hope all of us take out the time to do those exercises, because otherwise I don't think we'll be doing our bit after all the effort you have put in. So thanks for that, and love the enthusiasm with which you conducted it and answered the questions. So keep that up, and good luck to you as well for all your endeavors. Hope to stay connected. I'm sure all of us will use your tips and connect to you on LinkedIn right after this call. So thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Anuradha.
thanks,
Thank you.
thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for joining in. Let me close the recording and
I think there was
uh,
one question, Chintan, from Dhaval or
yeah.
No. I just said thank you both of you for
Okay,
wonderful
okay.
Oh,
session.
thank you so much. Okay. Fine.
Bye.
I'll
Thank you.
stop the recording. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining
Okay.
in. Have a great
Okay.
evening and Sunday ahead.